Is this just an ordinary compliment, or a signal that changes everything? Coldplay's Chris Martin finally talked about BTS's Taehyung, and what he said shook the K-pop world. More surprising, however, was Jungkook's reaction. Why does he look down with teary eyes? Is this a sign that their concert in the United States is on the verge of collapse? Something is wrong, and we can all feel it. Why did Chris Martin suddenly say Taehyung's name in a meaningful tone in front of thousands of fans? Why, after that statement, Jungkook instead chose silence with an expression we've never seen before? And the most painful question, will their concert in the United States really go according to plan, or will it become the final stage for something much deeper than just a performance? The concert that was scheduled to be a historic moment for BTS on the way to a full reunion in 2026 has now turned into an emotional puzzle that haunts fans. Many refer to this moment as the silent breaking point, where the smile that used to adorn Jungkook's face seemed to disappear from the moment Chris Martin's words came out of his mouth in a tone too honest to be called preamble, yet too secretive to explain. The first time I heard V's voice, I knew it wasn't just a voice. It was a feeling, Chris said on stage in a surprise post-soundcheck interview. He went on to say that if there's someone who can write songs about loss, sacrifice, and loud silence, it's Taehyung. Not only did the statement leave thousands of fans speechless, but also the camera zoomed in backstage, showing Jungkook no longer staring at the monitor screen as usual, but standing still, holding his jacket tight, as if holding back something more than emotion. Does this mean that there are certain songs that only Taehyung and Chris will sing? Or is there a secret project that HYB's own management does not even know about? What's more mysterious, since that statement, Taehyung hasn't made any comments, not via social media, not via VLive, not even via the little signals he usually inserts via Selka. This silence is too regular to be called a coincidence. However, the ARMY was not just passive observers. They knew something was different, especially after a picture surfaced of Taehyung practicing on a guitar with Chris Martin at a secret studio in California, a blurry image that was uploaded, then deleted by an unidentified staffer in a matter of minutes. But the internet's track record can't lie, did I end the picture. You can also see a piece of paper with a handwriting that partially reads, "If this is goodbye, let it be golden." That sentence immediately led the fan community to speculate that this concert was not just a concert, but a farewell in musical form. And if so, to whom is the farewell addressed? Is this related to rumors that Taehyung is considering taking a different path from BTS after the 2026 reunion? The rumor had sunk in, but it was reignited after reports from anonymous sources suggested that Taehyung had turned down several individual contract offers from international agencies for no apparent reason. Meanwhile, Jungkook, who has been known as the Golden Magne, seems to be moving away from his usual cheerful expression. In a brief interview with Korean media before leaving for the US, he said something that now feels like a sign. Sometimes, we have to sing a song even though we know the end of the lyrics will hurt. It felt like a small window into something bigger, something that wasn't spoken but hung between notes and looks that couldn't be explained. ARMY began to question, what is really going on behind the preparation of this concert? We know that Jungkook's recent performance style shows drastic changes, calmer, more reflective, even emotionally inclined. Many attribute this to the physical and psychological transformation that BTS members undergo after completing military service. Taehyung, for example, looks much more muscular and disciplined, the result of rigorous training with a South Korean special task team, as Money Control reported on July 20th, 2025. But is the change purely professional, or is there a pent-up emotional conflict? One thing that cannot be denied is that BTS's cultural influence has penetrated into a wider realm. An educational course about them is now being taught in California, a proof that they are more than just a musical group. They are a global phenomenon whose life story, both on and off the stage, has been the subject of study, inspiration, and now, a source of unease. Did is this the beginning of a new era, or is it the end of something we could never have imagined? Many still remember how Take Two, a song released for BTS's 10th anniversary celebration in June 2023, was once referred to as the group's last love letter to the ARMY. But could it be that the song is actually an early hint of something that is now starting to come to the fore? Does Chris Martin know something we don't? Some fans have even speculated that the latest collaboration song between Chris and Taehyung, which has yet to be officially announced, will contain a hidden message that explains all the silence so far. And if that's true, then Jungkook's reaction wasn't just emotional. They are signals that something big, perhaps painful, is waiting behind the curtain of that magnificent concert. The closer the concert date approached, the more an aura of mystery enveloped their every step. Even rehearsals were heavily guarded by extra security, and only a few insiders were allowed in. There were mentions that the opening song of the concert would be an unreleased song by BTS, and that it would be sung only by Taehyung. Why? Does Jungkook not want to sing it? Or not capable? This question resonated in the discussion rooms of fans, creating wild speculation about a potential silent breakup, about solo projects, about unspoken tensions, and most painfully, about the possibility that this concert is not about being together, but about a tacit decision to walk different paths. Chris Martin may have only conveyed admiration, but his words have opened the door to speculation that is too big to close again. And Jungkook's reaction was too honest to ignore. Now, millions of eyes will be on the stage in the United States, not just to watch the concert, but to read the gestures, expressions, and gestures that will probably answer all the questions. Or just add a new wound in the hearts of fans. I asked this the beginning of the end, or just a painful new chapter, and more importantly, are we ready to listen to a song that will probably change everything? What could make a global idol like Jungkook bow his head amid the cheers of thousands of fans? Is it the weight of a secret too heavy to share, or the loss of something that hasn't even happened yet? The days leading up to the concert in the United States were stressful. None of the BTS members gave a firm statement regarding the collaboration, which is said to be the turning point of Taehyung's solo career. But behind the silence, clues that flowed through the various small gaps, from body movements, from facial expressions, from the way they avoided the camera's gaze, and from the cryptic words in interviews that are usually full of laughter, have now turned into fragments of sentences that feel like pieces of farewell poetry. Chris Martin himself did not repeat his statement. He chose to remain silent after the uproar he caused in the first interview. But the public knows that something has begun and there is no turning back. The army began redissecting all of Taekook's interactions the past few months. A fanatic on Twitter uploaded a compilation of Jungkook's silent videos while Taehyung was performing. In some frames, there are clearly tears in the corners of his eyes, which he immediately wiped with the back of his hand, as if he did not want the world to know. But the world knows. The world sees. And the world wondered, is it about anxiety or a sense of loss? Meanwhile, internal reports began to leak to the media. A concert production staffer, who did not want to be named, leaked that Taehyung will be performing solo for a full segment, performing a new song that is not in the official BTS or Coldplay catalogs. The song was called Silent Waltz, and when it was first sung in a closed rehearsal, everyone in the studio was reportedly speechless, some even crying. Taehyung sings like he's taking something off, not someone, but something like a dream that he used to hold on to, and now he has to let go, wrote one of the reports circulating anonymously on the Reddit K-pop community. And when the question of Silent Waltz was raised to representatives of HYB, they chose to dodge. We have not been able to confirm the concert setlist in detail, their brief statement read. But who doesn't know? When a company starts to shut up, it's when the public starts to really hear. What struck fans the most was a small incident that occurred during a rehearsal in Los Angeles 2 days before the main concert. In the video leaked to the public, Jungkook is seen sitting in a corner of the stage, his back to the audience. His hands trembled as he held the microphone, and Taehyung stood not far from him, sculpting, saying nothing. No greeting, no smiles, only distance, and such a dense silence, as if breaking glass. Are the two in conflict? Or is this just a form of emotional farewell that is not ready to say? Several armies began theorizing that Taehyung and Jungkook were involved in a personal conflict over their respective solo project plans. The issue is amplified by leaks that Jungkook has turned down several collaboration offers with Western artists in order to prioritize BTS's comeback, while Taehyung is said to be more open to solo projects across genres, including collaborations with musicians like Chris Martin and possibly, according to rumors, Harry Styles. Did I ask this the beginning of the difference in vision between two friends who have always looked compact? Even more heartbreaking is how Taehyung looks like he is preparing his legacy. He began to wear much more symbolic stage clothes, a predominance of gold and black, wilted floral motifs, even a blood-red scarf that fluttered as he walked to the center of the stage. Fashion bloggers call her style now no longer idol-like, but like an avant-garde artist who is about to present the last show. And this is where the big question resonates. Is this concert Taehyung's farewell letter to BTS, or to the rest of us? Of course, all this is still a puzzle. But all the pieces of the story begin to form a pattern. Chris Martin says his name in a poetic tone. Jungkook cried in silence. The secret song is titled Silent Waltz. Refusal of an interview. And the silence of Taehyung himself was louder than anything he could sing. Fans began to recall the cryptic messages Taehyung had left. In one of his Wever sessions, he once said, "Sometimes, the place I want most is not the stage, but an empty space that doesn't require me to smile." Who would have thought? That sentence now feels like the initial script of something he was preparing long ago, but new questions again arise. If Taehyung is indeed preparing for a big move, whether it's a retreat, a vacuum, or pursuing a solo career, then what about Jungkook? Was his somber expression and reaction to Chris Martin's statement a form of grief at being abandoned? Or a form of anger for not being involved? A South Korean entertainment industry analyst interviewed by local media said the relationship between BTS members is not just friendship. It's a spiritual bond. So every little change between them can have a big impact emotionally. He also added that Jungkook's reaction was a form of awareness that something was changing and he couldn't stop it. This concert in the US is still a mystery, but the atmosphere was no longer as hopeful as usual. Now, he is overwhelmed by the anxieties, the heartbeats, and the prayers spoken in the hearts of millions of soldiers around the world. Because for them, this concert is not just about music. It's about togetherness, about promises, and about the unspoken farewell, but slowly beginning to feel. Are we ready if this really becomes the last chapter of a story that we have been guarding with love and tears? The question is now swirling in the heads of armies around the world. It's not that BTS has never been to a concert before, but because this time there was something unusual. Something that settles like a cloudy cloud behind the stage. And Overcast was named Taehyung, with his lightning bolt that secretly shook Jungkook's heart. The stage hadn't gone up, the lights hadn't gone out, but the atmosphere was already tense. There is no cheerful teaser as usual. There is no preparatory selka. No funny vlog of them backstage. The only thing there is silence. And in that silence, one word began to circulate wildly, that Taehyung was going to make an important announcement that night. What does the announcement say? No one knows for sure. But if you read all the signs that Taehyung has been spreading subtly for the past few months, then one of the most painful guesses arises. Will Taehyung announce a hiatus or even a breakup from BTS? For some, that sounds too extreme. But let's be honest, we all feel the change. Ever since Taehyung finished his military service with the special unit, something inside of him has changed. It wasn't just his physique that was getting stronger and sharper, but also the aura. As if he is no longer V of BTS, but someone who is weighing heavily between the call of the heart and the call of the stage. Some fans refer to it as Taehyung's quiet era, where he is more often seen alone, not very active on social media, and even when appearing in content with other members, his expression feels like, waiting. Waiting for what? Or wait for whom? Could it be about something he had wanted to say for a long time, but never really got the space? During one of the behind-the-scenes vocal training sessions, which was briefly shown by the production staff, Taehyung's voice was heard singing a verse of the song in a minor note that had never been published before. It's a simple word, but it sucks. I love you guys, but I have to love myself first. ARMY, who heard the passage, immediately recorded it and shared it in the online community. And from then on, the BTS fandom world became like a swarm of bees constantly searching for the nectar of truth amidst the flowers of endless blooming puzzles. However, what was most heartbreaking was Jungkook's reaction after the practice. He walked out of the room first, looking down without a sound. Some of the staff tried to greet him, but Jungkook gave a small nod and continued walking towards the car. A lucky soldier was able to record the moment from a distance. And in the last seconds before the car door closes, there is an expression that cannot be denied as a form of pain. Wet eyes, bitten lips, and clenched fists. Is Jungkook angry or too broken to speak? The relationship between Taehyung and Jungkook, has always been a special concern in fandom. They're not just group mates. They are a symbol of togetherness, balance. Even for some fans, soulmates who understand each other, without the need for many words. So when Jungkook's reaction shows cracks that have never been seen before, the ARMY begins to realize that this is not just about a musical project or a stage performance. It's about a bond that is being tested by time, by life choices, by the fact that even friendships can be forced to face branching paths. Chris Martin, who sparked this storm with his poetic statement, now seems to be a symbol of the other path that Taehyung may be heading. And many believe that their collaboration track will be released right after the concert, as a sign of the start of a new chapter full of risk but also honesty. But what does that honesty mean for BTS as a group? Will BTS remain intact? Or is the era of Take Two really a hint that after two paths that had time to merge, now each must find one step of his own? Question after question arises endlessly. But the concert was still scheduled to take place, with the stage reportedly to be divided into two parts. One for a full performance with the completed members, Jungkook, Jimin, Jin, and Taehyung. And one special segment reserved only for Taehyung was closed by Chris Martin. The audience didn't know whether to be proud or afraid. Many came with banners reading "Stay with us," Tae and Jungkook, we see you. Many also carry flowers not as a symbol of love, but as a symbol of grief that does not yet have a name. Some say this concert will be like a birthday celebration that is secretly also a farewell party. We laugh, we sing, and we cry when it's all over. And when the concert finally began, all completely changed. The first spotlight falls on the main stage. Jungkook appeared dressed in all white, a stark contrast to Taehyung, who wore a long black robe as he followed a few minutes later. No hugs, no handshake, just a quick look, and a little smile that looks more like an apology than a welcome greeting. And one duet segment. They sing Midnight, and at the end of the song, Jungkook turns to Taehyung. But Taehyung stared ahead, at the audience. Not because you don't want to see it, but because it's possible. It's the only way not to cry. And after that, Taehyung stepped to the center of the stage, alone. He took a deep breath, then said, "I won't talk long. But I want you to know, this is not the end of my love for BTS. But I need to discover what love is for myself." The whole stadium was silent. Jungkook is down. The song is called Silent Waltz. Every word is like an open wound. Each note is like an open treasure chest not to be taken away, but to be abandoned with a heavy heart. And when Taehyung sings the last verse, goodbye doesn't mean forever, but for now,